Hello, my name is Jake Crevin. I'm a junior here at San Diego State, and this is my submission for my final project for RWS 305W with Mr. Adrian Viga. Thank you, by the way, for a great year. You're actually a dog. I don't know if you know what that means, but you're him, bro. You're a great professor. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, accommodating. You're awesome, bro. Thank you. So, for this project, for you could have done a lot of different things for this project. You could have done a blog. You could have wrote about something. I think maybe the whole class, except for me and one other person, is doing a video essay portion. But you could have done a writing piece, and you could have just probably AI'd it, and you could have just submitted it. But I don't know. This is the last project of the year. I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more meaningful, make it feel a little bit more human. And for this project, we had to pick an idea or a topic that was, I'd say, meaningful, something that you cared about, and something that you know, is a big problem in our society. I'm not totally sure if I'm remembering the prompt that well, but hopefully that's a good gist of it. And the topic I'm going to be talking about today is the disconnect between curated reality and lived experiences. So, to start off, I don't really think people realize how often we're no longer actually living moments anymore and how we're kind of just performing them, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I remember being at the gym a year or two ago. I was a freshman, I was young, I was naive, and I caught myself doing something where I was like, yo, what am I doing? I was lifting, I hadn't finished my set, but instead of actually thinking about the actual workout I was in and what I was doing or how I felt physically, even, I was kind of sitting there taking a video, and I was more concerned about whether the video I looked was good enough if I wanted to post it later. Was the angle off? Was the lighting weird? Or was I more focused on how I looked in the moment rather than actually being in the gym in the first place? Now, yes, this isn't an extreme example. This is something that could occur daily and could be super minimal to someone's experience. But for some reason, I remember that and it stuck out to me. And in the moment, I was like, nah, like, what am I doing? But like later on, for some reason, I remember it. When I was drafting this, I came back to it and I was like, yo, like, I actually did that. So, I mean, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it's not just a me thing. It's more of kind of everywhere now, like social events, dinners, vacations, or even just hanging out with friends. I just feel like people are constantly thinking about how moments appear instead of actually experiencing them for themselves while like they actually happen while you're in the moment. And honestly, that thing kind of scares me. So when I started thinking about this, it made me think and ask a bigger question. Are we actually living our lives anymore? Or are we just performing them for our audience? Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, I truly believe social media has changed the way, almost damn near fully, the way we experience almost everything. We're constantly aware of what other people are doing. People could watch us, whether through it's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or anything else. I just think there's a pressure to like present in your life, to present your life a certain way to others. And eventually, I think that pressure is going to start changing how you think, how you act, even how you experience moments in real time. I believe that, a lot of college students, I'd say the main audience for this would be college students. I believe that a lot of college students, especially people my age, are becoming more focused on how life looks rather than it actually feels, if that makes sense. And that just scares the fuck out of me. And I'm not saying social media is evil or that people should stop using it. I use it too. Everybody does. But I do think there's a problem when we start valuing appearance over presence. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not saying posting on Instagram, TikTok, or even Snapchat is bad, but like I just get to a point where if you're really, you can tell when someone's really posting to be like, oh, I'm a flex on y'all, I'm a LARP, I'm a put on like, actually not even flex, just like, present themselves in a way that they want to be perceived by others, even though it's not actually what they want to be. Like at the end of the day, posting on Instagram isn't bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I post on Instagram, not often, but like I'm guilty of it. There's two sides of the coin. I just think one side of the coin is bigger than the other. Like it's okay to throw some on the grill every once in a while. Like for me personally, I like using Instagram if I were to post as a more of a creative outlet, more of like kind of a mix of like, hey, this is what I'm doing. These are cool photos I've taken over the last X amount of months, but also at the same time, like Maybe I'll put something in there where it's like me being creative, like, you know, this has a certain meaning. I mean, for me at least, personally, everything is calculated. Like up to the song, what I post. I mean, I want it to match a certain vibe thing, but that's just me using it as a creative outlet and being creative of like, it's a medium for me to express myself, which is okay. And it could be the same case for others, but I know for other people it's not. Like going, sorry, I got a little bit off track, but going back to what I was saying is I just think there's a real problem when we start valuing appearance over presence. Because at some point, if every moment becomes something to capture, post, or curate, then you stop actually experiencing life itself. And if you're not really experiencing life itself, then what's the fucking point? Like what makes this even more dangerous is that I just feel like this has become completely normal. Like this could be normalized just because for the people my age we're in college, but I just have this feeling like when me, everyone else in the same boat as me, when we get out of college, we could post a video and like no one could give a fuck because they could just literally look at the video and be like, oh, this kid's in Japan. He's skiing down a mountain in Japan. That's cool. But like when we're in college, you could post something and other people would be like, bro, he's so weird for that. He's such a pussy. Like he's trying to flex, but he's not. And he's actually so weird. But like when we get out of college and we're actually grown and matured, you could post the exact same thing 4 years ago and people are gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. This is what he's doing. Not have a second thought about it, not critique it. It's just the society and culture we had at college, and that's just what it is. Like I'm not saying social media is evil or anything. It's just, it's just a problem. Like this just makes it dangerous because I feel like it's really normalized at this point. Like, what are you gonna be doing 2 weeks from now? Like you are the only one that's in the way of where you want to be at in your career. No one else. It's a tough thing to think about, but it's something I really think people should consider. So, like I said, the community I'm talking about is college students, especially students here or involved in social media, gym culture, social life. And yes, I get it. At the end of the day, we live in San Diego. We're actually extremely blessed to be living this life for 4 years in Fantasyland in San Diego. Like we could be living Fantasyland anywhere else in the world or United States for that fact, but we're all here in San Diego. I mean, personally, it just can't get much better than that. So I think the reason I'm focusing on this group is honestly 'cause at the end of the day, I'm a part of it. I fall in that category. I see it every day. Maybe I don't participate more than others, but I feel like without me even thinking about it, I participate in a way. Like I know people go out with friends. You can take pictures for 20 minutes before you even sit down and enjoy where they are. People are recording workouts instead of focusing on actual training. That's not calling many people out. I know people actually get good lifts in. I'm not hating on that at all. I'm just saying like there are some people who do that. There are some people who I've noticed who, when you have conversations with them, they're not really there. Like they're either more concerned about what's going on their phone or thinking about what they're going to do later rather than actually just living in the moment. I just feel like we all like we don't even notice it because we all do it, and it's kind of like that feeling's like almost intoxicating in a way, if that makes sense. Like we just really normalize. I don't want to say documenting everything, but something along the lines of that. Because documenting stuff is cool, but if you're doing it for a different reason and not actually like enjoying what you do out of it, then I think it gets to a point. Like again, I'm not acting like I'm above this at all. I've done it. I fall in that category. There have been moments where I've been more focused on getting the picture of where I'm actually at rather than actually appreciating where I was at. But I think the real issue starts when that mindset becomes automatic. That's all. Because eventually, I think your brain's going to start experiencing moments with your perspective of audience instead of your own perspective if this keeps up. And it's just like, if that happens, I don't even want to know. I think it's dangerous the way it's like kind of leaning towards that and how, like, I'm not saying this is a factual, this is completely opinion based. This is me just kind of pouring out really inside. This ain't even off a script. This is really me just saying what I've kind of noticed the last couple of years in college. Like, you kind of just start asking yourself, like, how does this look instead of how does this feel? And I just think that changes everything. Like, because at the end of the day, pursue whatever the fuck you want it is in this lifetime. Take advantage of what you're good at, know your skills, and pursue it so bad that you're like obsessed over it. Because like deep down for me, I don't know really how I'll succeed without doing that. I don't know. I mean, to keep going and not get sidetracked, I think this matters a lot because it really slowly takes away our ability to be fully present. You can't physically be somewhere while mentally being somewhere completely different. I think a lot of people know exactly what I'm trying to say when I say that. Like you're hanging out with people, but the part of your brain is thinking about posting something later. You're at the gym, but you're actually more concerned about getting the lighting right, recording this rather than actually getting a good, decent lift in. You're on vacation. You can enjoy the experience, but you're more infatuated with capturing the content rather than actually being on a different place on this planet and appreciating where you're at. Over time, I think that disconnect is going to be too big to ignore, and it's going to affect more people than all of us realize right now. There is actual research out there showing that authenticity is closely connected to well-being and fulfillment. And honestly, like reading that off rip common sense, that does make sense. Because like when you constantly feel pressure to present a certain version of yourself for other people, it becomes harder to know what's actually genuine anymore. And I think the consequence that comes with that is it weakens real human connection between people itself. And like, you know, where our society stands, I'm not like a real political person, but like with like the new tech that's coming out, AI, our world's going to be completely different in probably the next 10, 15 years. I just think like human connection, like real, genuine human connection on all levels is going to be like the most important thing. That's just me. But, I have noticed like conversations do feel shorter, attention spans are cooked, including myself. I'm guilty of that. People are there physically, but like mentally, nah. And I think this is one of the biggest losses that's happening right now. Real presence is becoming rare, rare, literally. I don't know. I just think the reason that this topic matters so much to me and why I'm so passionate is because I started to notice it in my own life. There were moments where it should have felt in my life where it should have felt meaningful. And honestly, I barely even remember parts because of them because I was too busy thinking about getting a snapshot of where how it looks from the outside. And like when I fully realized that, it hit me pretty hard because at the end of the day, when nobody else is around you, what actually matters is the experience itself. Not the post, not the validation, not the image, just the moment. Like, I don't know how else to stress that more enough. Just the moment. Being able to fully be there, present, in a moment, in life, is pretty rare. But what's even more rare is like knowing it and enjoying it. Like, we can all recognize that we're in cool situations. Like, we could go do cool shit all the time. Like, we're in the prime of our lives. We have a great amount of freedom, financial freedom. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a good portion of school balling off of like, yeah, you have your own money and stuff, but like a lot of people here still have their parents that support you in a decent amount of ways, including myself. I'm not above anyone else here. It's just like when you really have that, like, just a moment, it's tough. It's tough to explain, but like, I just started realizing that some of the best experiences that I've ever had were the ones where I was fully present and not thinking about documenting them all. Yes, some of those moments may have been me on certain drugs to enhance the experience, and some haven't. But either or, enhanced or not enhanced, still some of the best times of my life. And that's what honestly really started changing my perspective because, like, deep down, the most important thing is enjoy your life without needing an audience to see that you're actually enjoying life. Just be yourself. And I know you can be like, oh, you're just saying just be yourself, like it's the easy thing. It's not. It's honestly one of the hardest things in this world. Like, I used to be so concerned about what other people thought of me. Kind of like everywhere I went, I used to be so self-conscious of it. And it's just like, it didn't ruin me. It just ruined how I experienced, saw life and thought about things and situations. But like, when I went home for the summer, this past summer, and you really have the time to yourself and alone time to like kind of just like take a third person view of yourself and dissect it. And you're like, I kind of was just like, damn, why was I even acting like that? Why did I even worry about that? Why did I even care about that? Like, just being yourself, I think, is the most important thing in this whole equation because at the end of the day, if you're being yourself, you're doing what you love, who's gonna stop you? Like, yeah, there's some restrictions, obviously, but like mentally, it's gonna be the most probably beneficial thing for you in your life outside of a couple other things. Um, yeah, I know that was a lot, but to keep going on this, I have a quote from a rapper, Nas. I don't know, he's kind of not my generation, but shout out Ryan Geiner. He's my roommate from New York. I know Nas is from around there. He put me on to Nas, and then I saw this clip of Nas and I wrote it down. But Nas said in an interview, how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things that either repels things or attracts things away from you. Only think about what you want. Forget what you don't want. Don't speak about what you don't have. If there's no enemy on the inside of your mind, there's no enemy on the outside that could ever do you or your body any harm. Do you. Don't look out the mirror or don't look out the window. Look in the mirror. Fuck what they say. Fuck what they feel. Do you. Do what you want to do and be good at it. Just make sure it's good enough for you and only you. And when I saw that, I was, I'm not gonna lie, I was super high and I saw that and I was like, holy shit, this like blew my mind. And I was kind of in the early drafting stages of this project and I was like, this is perfect. But if you really look it up and look at really what he's saying, it's like one of the, almost like to me, it's like one of the keys of the universe to mental elevation and happiness for yourself. Like someone will and can say negative stuff about you and how you approach life, but it cannot be your importance. One of the rules of human struggle is like what you worry about and what others think of you. You just like cannot let it affect yourself. It's just gonna ruin you. I know it's really hard to say, and I know a lot of people suffer from that, including me. I used to suffer from it, and I still do too, in a certain extent. It's just I think it's one of the biggest problems along with what I'm really talking about right now because there are moments that should have felt meaningful, and honestly, I barely remember parts of them because I was too busy about how they look from the outside. This is really just what started changing my perspective. So I think going forward, the solution shouldn't be deleting social media or pretending technology is bad. Because yeah, there's some bad parts to it, but like there's a lot of good. I think the solution really starts with awareness. Just being able to recognize who you are and like kind of slipping into performative behavior is like the biggest thing, but it's really hard to recognize that. And it's like it's not something you can really do for the first time when you're in the moment. It's kind of like after the fact, looking back on like, you know, why did I act a certain way? But like when you do that and think about why you acted a certain way, sorry, when you think about that and when you act a certain way, it's really weird. It's kind of weird to do that, but like it's the only way to kind of realize it, if that makes sense. Just being able to recognize it, because once you start noticing it, you can't really unsee it anymore. I think people need to become more intentional about it and just being present. Not every moment needs to be posted. Not everything needs validation. Not everything needs an audience. Sometimes I think it's just enough to experience something for yourself. Like it's okay sharing moments with other people. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things in life. But like really experiencing it. Not just being like enjoying yourself and then being like, I need to put this out somewhere later. Because then it just shows your like third party motives. But if you're really present and you really enjoy life and with the people around you, and when you surround people around you that are good and improve your life, I don't think there's anything stopping you. So I guess if there's one thing that I want people to take away from this, it's pay attention to how you experience life. The next time you're in your moment with your friends, maybe if you're at the gym, if you're out somewhere, or even just sitting with the people you care about, ask yourself, am I actually here right now? Like this could be a really weird thing for you to do, but genuinely be like, am I actually here right now? Because I'll tell you, I don't think I need to say it twice when life moves really fast. If we spend all of our time trying to present our lives instead of actually living them, we're going to eventually look back and realize we're never fully there in the first place. I just really think people need to start valuing presence again because the best moments in life are not the ones that best look online. There are generally ones where you genuinely feel like they're happening. Like, I'm really here right now. I'm really with my boys doing this. This is fucking awesome. Stuff like that. I think, like, bro, like, you are the blueprint. Like, you literally are the blueprint. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully, this is enough. Professor Vega, thank you again for everything this semester. Hopefully, you enjoyed this talk. I kind of enjoyed it myself. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. And hopefully, for my classmates, if you end up watching this, hopefully, this inspires you. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep living my life like this, keep pushing, keep doing what I really want. Fuck what they say. You can criticize me all you want, but I'm just keep doing me at the end of the day. Because I know in a couple of years, when people look back, you'd be like, damn, he was really doing this. Or someone else is really doing this. I wish I did that. I wish I had the balls to do that. That's all I'm getting at, really. Just be yourself. Thank you.